Hello, Swifty Sis. Today we're going to learn how to play Actually Romantic, exactly how Taylor would play it on guitar. All the effort you put in, it's actually romantic. Really gotta hand it to you. Ooh, no man has ever loved me like you do. I am obsessed with this track. It has such a late 90s, early 2000s grunge vibe that reminds me of Weezer every time I hear it. So this lesson is going to be based on how I imagine that Taylor would play this if it was the acoustic set of the Eras tour, which is not going to be exactly what the guitar in the track is doing. It's just going to be like an easier version of chords, because if you were to play what you're actually hearing in the track, it's chock full of bar chords, which is not what Taylor would play at all. However, if you would like me to do a version exactly like that on the electric guitar, let me know down below in the comments and I will make that happen. But like I said, this is going to be exactly what Taylor would play live on an acoustic set. So before we get started, if you would like to have access to my full playthrough of Actually Romantic so you can jam along with me, as well as having access to my Showgirl era themed printable guide that has the chord charts, the strumming, and the full set of lyrics, you can access all of that at patreon.com/fearlessfam. Sign up to become a cruel strummer and you will have access to every single printable lesson and full playthrough of all of my Taylor Swift lessons. I'm going to be doing the entire life of a Showgirl album, and then after that, we're just going to go back to old albums and eras and have fun jamming, so go check it out. So to play Actually Romantic just like Taylor, you're going to need a capo here on the 4th fret, and we have 5 chords, starting off with C major. I feel like she would either use C major or she might use a C over G, just because I feel like with an acoustic performance, especially for a song like this, she might want a little bit more bass. So just pop this 3rd finger up to the 6th string and put your pinky finger where your 3rd finger was, and you're gonna strum all 6 strings. You can just hear that extra, bass kind of growls a little bit more. Sounds really good, as opposed to either one sounds great. I'll let you decide what you would like to do, but I could totally see her going. Now from here, our next chord is an A minor. So just remove these last 2 fingers here, put your 3rd finger under here, and strum down from the 5th. Easy transition. And then we're gonna have an E major. And then we're going to have an F over C. So basically we're making a C major, and then you just tuck your pinky finger on the 4th string of the 3rd fret, strum down from the 5th. This is how Taylor would make her F major. She never plays barred Fs, so just like a nice open F. It doesn't sound as good with this song because the guitar in this track is playing bar chords. So this is a really like pretty open F chord, but if you feel comfortable playing a barred F, I highly recommend it just because it sounds better. Now, if you struggle with playing bar chords of any shape at all, I have a tutorial on how to make F major. But if that's not enough help and you need a little bit more than that, like a figurative hand holding, I have an entire course on how to build bar chords, and it makes it so easy because bar chords are actually like not as hard as you think that they are. They just seem like they're really hard, but once you figure out how to properly build them and practice them, it's a piece of cake. So I'll link my course down below. It's called Bar Chord Breakthrough because it helps you break through your bar chords. And our last chord is going to be a G major, but I'm actually going to play it more like a G5 like Taylor would. So you're just gonna remove your 1st finger and you're going to use your 2nd finger to lay down over that 5th string, which mutes it. And you just strum down. Either one is totally fine though. Our first progression takes place during the intro, verses, and the choruses, and it starts off on C major, or C over G if you want that extra bassiness. And then we're gonna move to an A minor, E major, and then we have our F major or F over C, So this is going to be our progression for pretty much the majority of the song except for the bridge. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our strumming patterns here. We have 3 strumming patterns that take place in this song. There's one that's just we'll save for the bridge later, but we have 2 that are going to occur with this main progression. And these first 2 patterns here are basically the same strumming pattern. They just each end a little bit differently. So this is the first one. Now this is the second one. So as you can hear, when you get to the F over C or F major, it just ends a little bit differently there. The first time around, it's just down, down, mute. And then the second time around, it's down, mute, down, mute. So an easy rule of thumb to remember when to use each strumming pattern is that the first one is going to be used the majority of the time. The second strumming pattern comes in every second line of each section. So the second line of the verse, the second line of the chorus, the second line of the second verse, the second line of the second chorus. That is when you'll use that. And that's pretty much the only time that strumming pattern exists. And then there are instances like the end of a verse, for example, where on that F over C, you're going to strum down 3 times real fast. And then you go into the chorus. It's kind of like a mini little build-up, if you will. And that's the other thing you're going to want to make sure you do too, is mute those strums. So down, down, mute, down, down, mute, down, down, mute, down, down, mute. Now, another thing to add on to that is you are actually going to fully mute your strums during the verses, like the intro and verses. And then in the choruses, you'll just let it ring out and go full strum. So for example, we'll have so that is what your verses are going to sound like, just kind of like muffled and muted. And then in the chorus, you'll just go full. So just in case if you're not familiar with muting your strings, you're basically just going to hover your strumming hand over the strings, kind of like next to the bridge here. And you just kind of keep it like, it never fully leaves. You can have it kind of like hop up and down a little bit, but you kind of just want it to like choke up on the strings a little bit. It's something that just takes a little bit of practice, but I promise if you just sit with it, and especially if you practice along with the actual track, you will get the feel for it. Also, another little strumming tip, I know there's like so many little strumming tips for this, but when you are playing through, especially the verses, and you're doing kind of this muted thing, you really only want to hit like the bassy strings. Just like that. But then in the chorus, feel free to just like go all out, sister. So let's go ahead and play through a little bit of the verse and chorus. I heard you call me boring Barbie when the coke's got you brave. High five my ex and then you're sitting glad you go. Instead me, wrote me a song saying it makes you sick to see my face. Some people might be offended, but it's actually sweet. All the time you spent on me, it's honestly worth all the effort you put in. It's actually romantic. Really gotta hand it to you. Ooh, no man has ever loved me like you do. Our second progression takes place in the bridge, and it starts off on G major to our F major or F over C. And you're gonna do that 3 times. So G to F, back and forth 3 times. Then we're gonna have E major, and we're gonna end on F. Now the strumming here is going to be a bunch of single down strums. I believe it's 8 per chord. So for here, if you want to emulate more of what that guitar in the actual track is doing, you're going to want to mute your strums a little bit. So just like that. So I'm really just hitting those like more bassier, thicker strings. I'm not really playing the whole chord, but if you want to just go all out and go, talking dirty to me. It's whatever you want to do. But I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of like, just mute them. You think I'm tacky, baby, stop talking dirty to me. It sounded nasty, but it feels like you're flirting with me. I mind my business, God's my witness that I don't provoke it. It's kinda making me wet. Oh, 'cause it's Taylor Allison Swift. This lyric is just amazing. I feel like it might honestly be a little spicier than Better Than Revenge. Like OG version. Better Than Revenge still throws down hard. I love Better Than Revenge. But this song is like actually sweet. All the time you spend on me, it's honestly lovely. All the effort you put in, it's actually romantic. Really gotta hand it to you. No man has ever loved me like it's actually romantic. And that is how to play Actually Romantic, exactly how Taylor would play it on guitar. If you would like to jam with me fully through the song, as well as having the printable guide in front of you, complete with the chord charts, the strumming, and the full set of lyrics, you can access all of that at patreon.com/fearlessfam. Sign up to become a Cruel Strummer. You will have access to all of my Taylor Swift content for every single tutorial that I put out. It is the place to be if you are a guitar Swiftie, so feel free to go check that out, and I will catch you in our next Showgirl lesson.